tell me a little bit about how Common Cause, the history of Common Cause, how it was founded, and what its mission in life is.
Okay, it was founded by John Gardner in 1970. I think it was right about the time of Watergate, and people were pretty disgusted with what had been going on. John Gardner put an ad in the paper, a full-page ad, saying,
New York Times it was,
saying that everybody has a lobby except the people, and inviting people to come and to join him in an organization that would make an effort to make the people in charge of government more responsible and responsive to the people.
You are anti-lobbyist, but in fact,
we are a lobby.
Common Cause is a lobby.
That's right.
So it's kind of almost like a paradox.
Well, there are good lobbies, and there are what we consider bad lobbies. And we, of course, feel we're a good lobby, that we're interested in improving the government. And we're a non-profit organization. We don't take money from any group whatsoever. And, of course, over the years, one of our big issues have been campaign finance reform, which we think is the basis for bettering government all around.
What exactly is soft money? I don't think I'm quite sure, actually.
Soft money is the money that's given to the political parties, and there's no way of tracing back to see who it came from and what their purpose in giving it was.
As opposed to hard money, which is logged somewhere.
Yes.
There's no way to trace soft money. Soft money goes to the parties, and the parties dish it out to the various candidates, and there's no way of tracing it like there is with what you call hard money.
Now, what kind of return can someone who contributes soft money expect for their cash?
Well, they may not get anything except a chance to exert their influence on the legislator. For example, if somebody gives a big chunk of money to a legislator, when that legislator picks up the phone and there are two calls, maybe one from a constituent who wants some help some way, and the other is from the individual that gave him the huge amount of money. What phone is he going to talk to first?
Right.
And as Oklahoma Senator Cesar, was it, said, you know who I'm going to talk to, because after all, this fella helped finance my campaign.
But that doesn't seem terribly dreadful, the fact that he might he may give a favorable ear to one person and rather than one party rather than another.
Yes, it does to me. Well, you could get legislation enacted that would be helpful to this individual. If this individual, for example, has a fishing fleet, and the legislature is going to vote on, say, restricting the amount of fishing that can be done, and the owner of the fleet has given him a big chunk of money, he's going to fight against the bill that would cut into his profits and into his fishing fleet.
I see.
Unfortunately, the soft money has to go through the legislature, and they're not about to condemn themselves, so naturally they're not going to say, well, we're going to put a limit on soft money, or we're going to put restrictions on soft money, or any kind of restrictions. Whenever Common Cause puts a bill in the legislature that might add a restriction to the amount of money going into campaigns, it's pretty difficult because...
But wait, are you saying then that there are no members of government who are favorable towards limiting soft money?
Not many.
Not many.
But there are some. There are some who know that it has influenced the situation to the place where laws are made to help the people with the most money, the big companies, and certainly not the ordinary citizen. So there are some people who are working very hard to help that. Well, the McCain-Feingold bill, for instance, which was for campaign finance reform, would have include some.
And what happened to that bill?
It didn't pass, but it's going to be brought up again
Is this
as soon as the new legislature goes in.
Is this Florida or national?
That's national. And it's one Republican and one Democrat. McCain is the Republican, and
McCain is the fellow who ran for the Republican presidential
primary.
Primary and lost. And Feingold is a Democrat.
Ben Wilcox is the
Executive director.
Executive director. Oh, in Tallahassee.
Yes.
And he was in Tampa recently talking on WFLA. And he was particularly concerned about Jeb Bush's habit of playing golf with lobbyists on the weekend.
Right.
And Jeb would not refuse to comment about that, of course. Now, why would that be a problem if Jeb chose to play golf with one individual or another?
Because that's an example of influencing a legislator. And Jeb Bush, after all, is the governor, and he can, if he can be influenced by somebody he plays golf with, and as far as I'm concerned, if I was playing golf with the President of the Senate or the Speaker of the House, I'm sure that if something came up that I was interested in, I'm sure that the governor would say, well, I'm going to work for you because you're a good guy. I play golf with you.
And also, you contributed to my election, to my campaign. I think, for instance, the day before Jeb Bush was elected, he had a good deal of publicity by meeting with the farm workers, remember?
No.
And he made several promises to them, and Bleeding Hearts Like Me had great hope that something would be done to help the farm workers. Nothing has been done, and they are now making a little noise saying, you know, we expected more than this.
Well, the farm workers couldn't play golf, for one thing.
So I think that
they were too busy pulling the weeds.
Right. What exactly was the election year pledge?
They, as I remember it, the pledge was to support campaign finance reform.
And it was sent to virtually everybody.
Every legislator. I should say everybody in Congress.
And I think the interesting thing was many people refused to sign it.
Yes.
And then you published a list of the people who had signed it.
Yes.
Right.
And of course, one of the most prominent people who originally refused to sign it was Al Gore, but who has now signed it and is boasting about having signed it.
Right. There are others that have mentioned it too. Nelson mentioned it. I have signed the Common Cause Pledge, and my opponent has not. Well, I think that I would hope that more and more people, especially young people, will become interested, because if we are going to if we're going to claim that we have something to say about our government and the way our country runs, we need to get in there and do something about it, and there's no better way than to be part of, to support an organization that is doing just that, trying to make the people more powerful.
Longing to be free, we came to be.